Salam everybody, this is Investor Sheikh back at it again with another video. I am currently doing a giveaway, so if you're new to the channel, please click on that video on the top for more information. The giveaway does end at the end of April. Today's halal stock pick of the week is the Wahed Invest Sharia ETF, ticker symbol HLAL. Stock price is at $40.50. And HLAL tracks a principles selected market cap weighted index of US equities. And looking at this ETF, it consists mainly of technology stocks, healthcare, consumer cyclical at 9.9%, energy, industrials, basic materials, consumer defensive, real estate, utilities, and communication services. And the top 10 holdings are Apple at 17.99%, Tesla at 5.96%, followed by Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, ExxonMobil, Chevron, Pfizer, Eli Lilly, Thermo Fisher, and Cisco Systems. So in a way, this ETF is similar to SPUS, but the holdings are a lot different, especially with Apple being at roughly 18% of the ETF. This ETF in particular is heavily weighted in Apple, compared to SPUS being heavily weighted in both Apple and Microsoft at around 11% each. And then on Zoya, you type in HLAL, it'll show you the Wahed FTSE USA Sharia ETF, certified Sharia compliant. As you see, HLAL has been certified as Sharia compliant by Straightway Ethical Advisory, an independent Sharia audit and advisory firm. And they have a certificate for your reference. And some more information is HLAL was created in July 16, 2009 by Wahed. The fund's investment portfolio concentrates primarily on total market equity. The ETF currently has 160 million in AUM and 226 holdings. HLAL tracks a principles selected market cap weighted index of US equities. So in a way, this ETF allows you to invest in the American stock market, but as they say here, principles selected, meaning that they're going to exclude certain stocks that do not meet the Sharia compliance guidelines. For example, banking, defense, anything that serves any haram stuff like alcohol, tobacco, adult entertainment, they're going to exclude that from the ETF. And now I'm on the Wahed official website with their ETF called Wahed FTSE USA Sharia ETF. Get passive index exposure to US Sharia compliant stocks. Sharia compliant stocks are stocks that have characteristics which are consistent with Islamic principles as interpreted by subject matter experts. So these experts are looking into these companies and determining based on their 10K and what their business comprises of to make a determination as whether this stock is Sharia compliant and whether it should be included in the ETF. Because with an ETF, your money is being broadly diversified among many stocks. And then some more information is that it's NASDAQ listed, global accessibility. Low expense ratio, which is at 0.5%, which is similar to the SPUS ETF at 0.49%. Globally recognized index. The fund tracks the FTSE Sharia USA index, which is different than the SPUS ETF, as that one is based on the S&P 500 minus the stocks that are not Sharia compliant, which is a little over 200 stocks. So as you see here, the ticker symbol is HLAL. Expense ratio is 0.5%. Let's take a look at Yahoo. So they show you the top 10 holdings: Apple, Tesla, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Adobe, ExxonMobil, Intel Corp, Cisco Systems, Pfizer, and Salesforce. So as you see, the composition is a little bit different than what they show on Zoya and Robinhood. But I would say Yahoo Finance is more up to date, because as the stock prices go up and down, it will affect the composition in that ETF. So for example, if Tesla stock were to go down, the holdings could go down from 5% to 3% in this ETF. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And it's good because it mitigates your risk, as opposed to keeping all your money in one stock. It's being spread across many high quality stocks. So if one of the stocks is not doing so well, hopefully the other stocks in that ETF will make up for it. And that's one of the beauties of purchasing an ETF and holding on to it. And then one thing to note is that it does have a dividend yield of 1.01%. So even with the expense ratio, you're still up big on the ETF, and that's not including the long-term growth. So let's take a look at how the stock has performed in the past 2 years, since this ETF was released in the summer of 2019. So let's zoom out to the 5-year chart. And as you see here, the ETF did start at around $24 and then had a dip in March of 2020 to $19. And since then, it has been going up consistently to as high as $43. And right now it's settling at $40 a share. So this growth is very similar to what you'd see in an S&P 500 ETF. As you buy the ETF and then you hold it, theoretically it should go up, assuming the S&P 500 goes up. But with this market and the way it is right now, there is a risk that the S&P 500 could go down. I mean, we've seen growth stocks go down considerably throughout 2021 and part of 2022. And some of the S&P 500 stocks have been pretty resilient, but we're starting to see a lot of these stocks go down as well. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is although the S&P 500 has a good history long term, you may experience short-term volatility as well. And as long as you can handle that short-term volatility, you will experience the long-term gains. As they say, no pain, no gain. So, all in all, HLAL is a pretty good ETF. One thing to keep in mind is that it is heavily weighted on Apple. So if you're bullish on Apple, that could be good. But if you're looking for a more balanced ETF, I would consider SPUS. But nonetheless, HLAL is a pretty good ETF as well for the Halal investor. And although I do have a pretty large position in SPUS, I do plan on purchasing some shares of HLAL in my Roth IRA. And inshallah, I'll probably show you the dividends that I receive from that and compare it with SPUS, because those two ETFs are the most prominent ETFs among the halal investing community. And as always, I'm not a financial advisor, so please don't buy this ETF simply because I'm talking about it. Please do your own research and take a look at the Wahid website to get more information on this ETF before you decide to put your money toward it. This is Investor Sheikh, checking out.